Hi, in this video, we're going to be working on section 6.3. I'm going to be solving more kinds of problems with percent. We'll start with the first problem on the worksheet. And what we have here is that sales from frozen pizzas for a club fundraiser increased from 500 to 570, 500 one year to 570 the next year. What was the percent of the increase? So let's go ahead and write down what we know here. We know the original amount of sales. So original was $500 and the new is $570. And so the problem asks for the percent of increase. So then the next thing I'm going to do is find the amount of increase. Okay, so the amount of the increase, how much did it increase? In this case, it increased $70, right? 570 minus 500, the amount of the increase. This is step one. Now, so we have an original and we have the amount of change that we've been asked, that we're asked to focus on for finding percent. Step two is going to be to use your percent equation to solve for what they're asking, percent of increase. So in the percent equation, we always work with whole, percent in decimal or fraction form, and part. And so we can use that same structure, but whole is going to line up with original. Percent is going to line up with the percent change, right? And then part is going to line up with the amount of the change. So in this case, it's an amount of an increase, but it could also be an amount of a decrease, right? So I'm going to say the amount of change. So just taking note if it's increase or decrease, that make sure you understand and you have it kind of clear. So now what I'm going to do is line up. Whole is original, and so the whole is 500. Percent is the percent change, and that's what we're looking for. And the part is the amount of change, which we calculated in step one as 70. Okay, so now we're ready to work in our percent equation. And our percent equation is part is equal to whole times percent. So substituting in, part is 70, and that's going to be equal to 500x. So we divide both sides by 500, and now we have x is equal to 70 over 500. Let's go and just clean up what 70 over 500 is. So we'll want that in a percent form. So we can get that into a decimal. We can move our decimal to two places to the left. 70 over 500, reducing by 10 gives me 70 over 50. So we're going to take 50 into 7 over 50. So now we're going to take 50 into 7, right? Going to need to add some decimal places. I'm just going to do this out. You guys can slow the video down, or you can pause it and do it yourself. And then check with my work. Hopefully we'll figure it all out. Okay, so what we have is 7 over 50 is 0.14, and that's 14%. So we have 14% is equal to the percent of change, the percent of increase. We're going to move on to problem 2. So let's look at problem 2. By switching service providers, a family's phone bill decreased from about $50 a month to about $46 a month. What is the percent of the decrease? So let's look at the original cost and then the new cost, and we're going to find the amount of the decrease. That'll be step 1, and then step 2 is to find the percent associated with that amount. So the original price of the phone service was $50, and they got some new service, and now it costs about $46. And we're asked to find the percent of the decrease. So let's start by calculating the amount of the decrease. And we see that the service has decreased by $4. Okay, that's step 1. And then step 2 is that we're going to use a percent equation. So whole, percent, and part. Whole is the original, and that's $50. Percent, that's the unknown in this case, in this question. And part is going to be that amount of that decrease, or that amount, right? It's an amount of decrease, we'll call it. Amount of decrease, and that is equal to 4. So whole is 50, percent is X, and part is 4. We'll go over here and work on the percent equation. Part is equal to whole times percent. So my part is 4. My whole is 50, and my percent is the unknown. We're going to divide both sides by 50 so we can solve for the percent. So 4 over 50, we can write that as 2 over 25, reducing. And now we have a division problem. We're going to have to take 25 and divide that into 2. Okay. Add some zeros here. And 25 goes into 200 8 times. 8 quarters and $2, right? Okay. So the percent of that decrease is 8%. All right. So that's number 2. So there's a couple of problems for you guys to try, 3 and 4. Pause the video, give it a shot, and then press play, and we'll work on the next batch. Hi, so we're looking at problem number 5 now. And we're asked to compute sales tax, given a selling price and the rate of the sales tax. Okay, and so when you think about what a sales tax is a certain percent, right? So if I bought a pack of crayons for $1 and there was a 6% sales tax, then I would have to take 6% of the dollar, which is 6 cents, and pay that above the price. So the price is $1, and 6% of $1 is 6 cents. So I have to pay $1.06 for those crayons. All right. So what I was kind of referring to was that the selling price we're going to treat as the whole in our percent equation. And that the rate of the sales tax is the percent, and that the amount of the sales tax is the part. So we're going to use this sort of structure to go ahead and calculate what the sales tax is in problem 5. So in problem 5, we are told that the selling price of an item is $18.18. And we are asked for the rate of sales tax. And I'm sorry, we're given the rate as 8.5%. And then we are asked to find what the sales tax is. So that's our unknown. So the first thing we want to do is we want to jump in here and we want to convert this to a decimal number. You could also convert it to a fraction number, but I'm going to work today using the decimal equivalent. So first, let's just look at the 8.5. We know that 1/2 is equal to 0.5. So 8.5% is 8.5%. And now I'm going to move my decimal place twice to the left to convert it from a percent to a decimal. So clean enough so you guys can actually see it in the video. 0.85. Awesome. Okay. Now we're going to set up our percent equation by identifying, well, we have the whole, right, which is the selling price. And that's 1818. And then the percent, right? So we have that as 0.085. And then the sales tax, or the part, is my X. So let's set up the percent equation. We have X, we have part is equal to whole times percent. And so my part is the X, the whole is 1818, and the percent is $0. Sorry, I don't need to write it like that. $18.18 times 0.085. So I will set that up. You guys can work on that on this long division problem. I mean, this long multiplication problem. Okay, and I'm just going to present the answer. So rounded to the nearest cent. So you're going to have to round to 2 decimal places, and we get $1.55. In problem number 6, we have a telephone costs $181. If the sales tax rate is 5%, how much tax is charged? And what is the total price? We're going to round both answers to the nearest cent. Okay, so there's 2 questions. The first says, what is the tax? And then what's the total price? So let's focus on getting, we know that, let's write that down, that the price of the phone is $181, okay? And then we're going to do something similar to what we did in the previous problem to figure out how much tax you have to pay to buy that phone. So that's going to be the first question, how much tax is charged, and we're going to run through calculation similar to number 5. And then we'll add it together. The price of the phone plus the amount of the tax, that's how much you have to pay. That's the total amount you pay. Okay, so let's work first on just getting the amount of the tax. So the price is $181. The tax rate is 5%. And we want to know the sales tax. That's our unknown, so we'll call that X. In my percent equation, the price is the whole. The tax rate is the percent. So we have the whole is equal to 181. The percent in decimal form, we can translate that 5% to 0.05. And then the part is the sales tax that we're trying to solve for. So that's X. So let's get the percent equation working for us here. Part is equal to whole times percent. So X is equal to 181 times 0.05. Okay, so I'll set that multiplication problem up, but you guys can do that on your own. I end up getting X equals $9.05. That's my tax. So now we have answered the first part of the question, how much tax is charged? But now we also have to say, what is the total price? So the total price, the amount of money you have to give over for you to get the phone, right? And so that's going to be $181 plus $9.05. Okay, so the total amount that you have to pay is $190.05. Okay, so there's a couple problems for you to do. Pause the video, do 7 and 8, and come on back. We have another problem to do together after that. Hi, so we're working on number 9 now, and we're asked to calculate the simple interest and the final balance if you put $500 into an account that gives you 5% interest per year for 2 years. Okay, and this is the formula. So I'm going to introduce a new formula here. Okay, and it is that the interest that you get, simple interest, is principal times interest rate times the number of years. So in this case, the interest that I'm going to earn is going to equal the $500. Principal is the amount of money you put into the bank. The interest rate, let's write that as a decimal, 0.05. And then the number of years. In this problem, time in years is equal to 2. So we're going to multiply that by 2. So we have, that gives me 50. So the interest is, you can multiply, when I did it, I multiplied the last 2 numbers and then multiplied 0.1 times, I'll put it here. So that was 500 times 0.0 times 0.1 and then $50. Okay, so what is the final balance I'm going to have is the original $500, and then I'm going to add to it the $50 of interest that I earned. So my final balance is equal to 500 plus 50. And that's 550. All right, so you also have another problem like that, number 10. Give that a shot. And that's all we have for this worksheet, and I'll see you in class.